All right, good evening. So what I'm going to do for you now is do a concept drawing for 5 cupcakes. That's an upcoming assignment. It won't be due until after spring holiday. So let's get with it, and I'll show you how to do it in case you want to get started before spring holiday. Now I have my blank piece of concept paper. A lot of times I'll do what's called blocking. I just block out on the concept paper large areas, and these circles don't necessarily stay circles, but they will represent where larger objects may exist. For example, this circle right here might in fact become more of an oval, and I'm going to put an oval inside of that, and that oval then becomes a donut. So you see it's no longer a circle. I don't like erasing lines, that takes too much time. So instead I draw my lighter blocking marks lightly, and then I just come back with darker marks later on so that I can just ignore the lighter ones. I'm going to put an oval down here, and I'm just going to use some hatching marks here to suggest some shadow falling underneath that donut. You don't have to do hatching, and you don't have to do shadows on your objects, but you can if you wish to. Okay, right here, let's go ahead and put a cupcake. I am going to start with that oval again, and this is going to be the paper portion of the cupcake right here. You notice how I put one thing in front of another thing? I don't like this curve right there. It should be more pronounced. I should be able to see more of the curve there. Okay, not quite so flat. In other words, this curve down here should more or less match that curve right there. Now this is the paper portion of the cup. I can draw lightly as I do the pleating on the cup here, and I'm not doing all of it at once. Here, when I'm more sure of myself, I can go more heavily. Okay, and so that would be the pleating on the cup. I don't know if I have to do this serrated edge right here, but it's not going to hurt, so I'll go ahead and do that. This line back here needs to come out. There's going to be a big pile of frosting here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to indicate how tall that frosting is by an arching line right there. And then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some diagonal lines in here lightly, okay? These are all diagonals, pretty much equally spaced. And I'm going to fill that with frosting. I'm going to use what's called an S-curve, and guess what? An S-curve is shaped like an S, and when I do my S-curve, I'm going to come in here and make it look like an S. So you see there's an elongated S-curve right there. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. And this one can come around like that. Okay, and so there is my, if I erase it, you can see the frosting on my cupcake. Now, granted, there's a lot of extra lines in there. Just kind of ignore those. So that's a cupcake. What if I did, well, I could do soft serve frosting the same way. You know what I'm going to do right here? I'm going to create a series of shapes. I'm going to go big, medium, small, and smaller. Any one of these doesn't really equal a sweet. A sweet is important as, say, a single cupcake like this. But together as a group, they're pretty important. So these are going to be like chocolate candies, and it could be that the chocolate's a little bit melted sitting right here, or maybe that's just how they're manufactured. So the chocolate kind of melts, and having that sense of fluid, flowing chocolate is kind of a neat thing. I'm going to go ahead and put some shine on the chocolate right there. Okay, I'm not sure that I drew those as well as I could, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. I'm going to go ahead, you notice how I'm packing things in, one thing behind another, behind another. I'm going to keep on doing that. Right up here, I think I'm going to put a piece of cake. Now notice I'm kind of ignoring my blocking lines, and that's okay. Here comes a wedge of cake, and it's coming down. The sides are coming down. Okay, and because it's a layer cake, I might see a layer of frosting right in there, and then that separates two sheet cakes, one above, one below, or cakes from pans. And I might just go ahead and put some decoration right there on the top edge. And the frosting layer, I guess, can be drawn separately too, here like that. So that's frosting, that's cake, that's more frosting, done in a wedge. And again, I might go ahead and suggest that there's a little bit of shadow right there. Okay, so there's my cake. You notice I still have an area right here to fill, and I'm gonna fill it. I don't have anything down here either. I'm trying to think what would go very good right there since we're talking sweets. And since I really like this shape, I'm gonna go ahead and do a lollipop, okay? So there's that one. I'm just going to cross that a few times through the middle to put a design right there. And because I can, again, make another one of these, well, that's not very good. Let's try this again. Not great, but you see that I have managed to fill this top edge, and I can even put a portion of a lollipop down here. Not great, but you can see where it kind of mimics what's up here and balances out. So here I've got at least 5 very large sweets, very large objects. They don't have to be cupcakes, but they can be if you want. Really crowd your space. There's a reason why they need to be large. There's a reason why you need to overlap. Take my word for it. Do it when you plan it, okay? Nothing too small. Later on, the tool you're going to use for this, oil pastels, is not great for small things, okay? Now, you try.